My name is Erica Wagner. I'm the literary editor of The Times, and I was one of the judges, one of 3 judges, for this year's Paris Literary Prize. And so it was my job, along with Darren Strauss and Dennis Lloyd Johnson and Brighton Breitenbach, to read the long-listed manuscripts and choose a winner. I think the role of the novella in literature is not something actually we should worry too much about. I think publishers, more than readers, get hung up about what things are called. Pieces of writing should be the length that they need to be. That said, it is a difficult form to publish. It's not a short story, it's not a novel. So it's very good that there's a prize now for, you could say it's an intermediate form, but it isn't really. It's just like a short story is not less than a novel. So a novella is not less than a novel or more than a short story. They're all just different forms for fiction. It was very interesting to read all through the different drafts. I've done a great deal of judging in my time. I've judged the Booker Prize, I've judged the Orange Prize, the Whitbread Prize, which is now called the Costa Prize. I'm judging another prize now, the Wellcome Prize. This is different, however, because this is a prize for unpublished writers. And when you judge a prize for a book that's been published, even if you don't want to bring preconceptions about the author to your reading, you do. Even if you're judging a prize for first-time novelists, because even if you don't know their name, you know the publisher's reputation. You know even what the book jacket looks like. Somebody's made a judgment about the book before you have. With this prize, all we had was the text. None of the judges knew the names of the writers. We didn't know how old they were. We didn't know what sex they were. And that's a really refreshing experience, actually. It reminds you what it's like just to read pure text and try and decide what you like without any preconceptions. And it's very interesting, you know, not talking with the other judges because we never met, but knowing what they thought. You know, it's interesting that most of us were wrong, guessing, for instance, what sex the writers were. More often than not, we were wrong. So that kind of thing is, you know, that's really fascinating. So it was also a wonderful and interesting surprise to find out once we knew who the winners were. My advice for writers is always the same. I wouldn't have any special advice for entering this prize, because if you're going to succeed as a writer, you have to write the story, whether that's a short story, whether that's a novella, whether that's a novel, the story that you need to write. If you try and push it into a shape it's not meant to be in, it won't be successful. It needs to succeed on its own terms. This happens to be a prize for works of fiction of a certain length, but it is a length that many writers I know like to write to. It's a very attractive length, and there isn't much in the publishing world you can do with it, so it's great that there is now. But again, I think for anyone wanting to enter this prize, you just have to do what you need to do.